Greetings, pet lovers. Brigid here with First Street Pets, and today we're going to talk about how to start a pet sitting business part 3, marketing. There are many different ways to market your business, but if you could only choose one way, which would it be? Stick around to the end of the video and I'll give you my recommendation. Let's start with the internet. There are a number of ways you can advertise on the internet. The most important is to set up a website. As we talked about in the last video, Startup Essentials, these are the 2020s and you really need to have a website. Over 50% of our clients find us through a Google search. So I would highly recommend that that's something you get set up right now. You can start off for free or very inexpensively with any of a number of companies, including GoDaddy, Wix, or Weebly. There's many others out there. Just check it out and see what works for you. Many of these companies have some easy templates. You can even pick a pet template and just plug in the text and pictures. So you want to have some basic information up there about what you offer, what your services are, what your prices are, the service area you cover, and how you can be contacted. Now you'll want to understand SEO, search engine optimization. Because it's such a complex subject, we're going to do a deep dive on that in another video. But right now I'm just kind of touching on it. Another way to advertise on the internet is through social media. Now, it's not as effective as one might think, but I do still recommend having a Facebook page or an Instagram account where you can upload cute pictures, you can do videos of yourself walking a dog, and a variety of different things that people really enjoy. Now, because of the way Facebook works and Instagram as well, it's not a great standalone business tool because you have no way of knowing if people will see that content or if someone is going to come upon your page when they're looking for a pet sitter. What I find is that it's a really good tool for keeping clients happy because we post pictures of their pets and videos, and people love to see their pets featured on your pages. They can be pet of the week, pet of the month, or anything like that, and that keeps the clients happy. Now, I do have people who do a Google search and find our website and then kind of go over and look at the social media accounts. So it is nice to have some content there. I think it gives people an idea of what we do and that the business is current. Now, one caveat, if you don't have time to manage these accounts, then I suggest that you don't start them. Because if you're not posting at least 2 or 3 times a week, people will think that maybe the business is closed if there hasn't been a post in months, or that this business is not up to date. So if you're going to go ahead and have social media accounts, you're going to want to post to them regularly. Another great way to promote your business on the internet is through Google My Business. You just look it up online, it's Google My Business, and follow the instructions for setting up your account. It's all free. You can post pictures, you can put updates about your business, you can talk about different specials or maybe a sale that you're having or a free visit or whatever. It's very important that you set this up because many searches that people do are by area. Something like 70-75% of searches now are on a mobile device, which has GPS. So you'll see that many people will type in pet sitter near me. And what's going to come up first is something that's in Google My Business that is closest to where they are at that moment. Now, one thing to be aware of with Google My Business is you do have to use your address. Most pet sitters don't have a separate office. We have a home office. So you're going to be putting your home address on there. So if that's a security concern for you, then you may not be able to use Google My Business. But you're also going to miss out on a ton of business and potential clients by not being in those local map-based searches. So I would recommend doing that and just being sure to be clear on your website that this is not a boarding kennel, you're a pet sitting or a dog walking service in the client's home. Let's talk about old school and paper resources for marketing your business. Number one is a business card. We touched on this in the last video. You can get business cards now that are very inexpensive through an online company like Vistaprint, or you can print them at a local print shop. You just want some basic info on there, your logo or a picture if you haven't even designed your logo yet, your business name, your phone number, and your website. If there's enough room on the card and it's not too cluttered, maybe the area that you cover. But you just want minimal information. It's just basically, in today's world, for someone to mostly look at your website and also maybe give you a call. So that's really all the information that needs to be on the card. You don't want it to be too cluttered. You want to keep it simple. Now, business cards are a great tool to display or drop off at your veterinarian's office, at a groomer, at your beauty salon, wherever else you frequent, that they may hand these cards out or people may see them there in the rack. On that note, you can also create a rack card, which is a slightly bigger piece, and it's on heavy cardstock. Those are a little bit more eye-catching than business cards, especially if you're in a place where there's like a lot of business cards by the front desk. If you want yours to stand out, you can design a really nice piece, and you can buy those little plastic rack card holders online, or if you have an office store near you. And these are also good to put up at all the same places where you would put your business card. Mailers are a good marketing tool, but it takes a little more thought than just handing out those business cards and rack cards. You can send out mailers to any given area. There's a service through the post office called Every Door Direct Mail. I didn't have a great return on doing that because it literally sends it to every house in a given area. So you're kind of maybe blanketing more people than those you actually want to target. This is a great tool for other things like looking for a lost pet, but for pet sitting, you're going to have to dive a little deeper. Now, there's different ways you can get mailing lists. You can buy mailing lists. I haven't personally done that because I don't want to spend a lot of money on something that I'm not sure is going to work for me. What has worked for our business is to target people who are just moving into town. Now, what I found here where I live in Northern California is that people who've lived here for a long time already have a pet sitter most of the time. If they've lived here for 20 years or they grew up here, they have a pet sitter. It's a friend, a neighbor, a family member. They maybe exchange with a neighbor or something like that. So while those people will sometimes be looking for a sitter, very often people who just came to town are looking for a sitter because they're just getting settled and they're getting back to work, and they maybe need a dog walker while they're at work, or they're planning a trip and they're going to need a pet sitter and they don't know anybody. So they're going to be searching for someone in their area. Now, the way I do this is pretty easy. I go on any of the public MLS sites, multiple service listing. These are real estate sites for the public. I like realtor.com. There's also Zillow.com and a variety of other sites. Just pick which one that you like. I will do a search for recently sold homes in a given zip code, and it will give me a list of those homes, and I will go ahead and just write down all the addresses and mail out my cards. Now, what I learned is that you want to wait at least 30 days until after the home has sold, because now that I have a little better understanding of how this works at the post office, if a house has been for sale for 6 months, it's going to be marked vacant at the post office, or the previous homeowner has already put in a forwarding order. So the post office is not delivering mail to that address at that time. And if you send your card the day after the house sells, it's just going to get sent right back to you stamped as vacant or no forward or something like that. So if you wait about 30 days, I find that people have moved into the home, they've started receiving mail, and so the chances are good that they will receive your card and either hang on to it or give it to a friend or give you a call. I have had a pretty good return on this, considering that it doesn't cost a whole lot. Haven't gotten a lot of clients from it, but we have picked up a few clients that are good clients that give us a lot of business, and we've worked for them for years. So it's definitely something that can work. Now, you can design your mail piece again on Vistaprint or at a local print shop. I recommend printing a little postcard with some information. What I do is offer a free visit for a new client and a free consultation, which is always free anyway, but I put that on the card just to get their attention. And my card says, welcome to the neighborhood. So it's just something they'll receive shortly after moving into their new home. Now, be careful, because I printed up the larger postcards because I thought they looked better, and I have like 5,000 of them. But it turns out that I have to pay the full first-class postage on them because of their size. Check with the post office, and if you make your postcards the correct size, you only have to pay postcard postage, which is cheaper. So, and I'm only sending these things out maybe like 100 at a time. So it's not a huge investment. I'm just kind of picking an area, sending them out, and waiting to see if anyone gives us a call. Referrals can be some of the best business for you. Now, a lot of these referrals may come from other pet businesses. So there may be other pet sitters in neighboring towns that you don't serve, maybe veterinarians, groomers, etc. As I mentioned about dropping off your business cards, these are great ways to pick up new clients. However, I do recommend, especially at first, that you ask for referrals from people you know. These people are much more likely to send business your way than someone who's never met you. I learned when I first started my first business back in the 90s, I literally went to every pet shop in town, every pet store, every groomer, every veterinarian, even places I'd never been before. And they were polite to me when I went there, but more than likely after I left, they just put my cards in a drawer and forgot about it 10 minutes later. You want to develop a relationship with these other business owners and these other professionals. That way they feel like they know you a little bit better, they can trust you, they feel more comfortable giving you a referral, and you can also help them out. Send them business and make sure that the person who goes there mentions your business, that you referred them, that you recommended their services. Use these services yourself. Bring your own dogs to get groomed there. Patronize that veterinarian. Go to that beauty salon or whatever the shop is. Buy your dog food at that pet shop. Develop a relationship, and they're going to be a lot more likely to send people to you. You may also get referrals from friends, neighbors, other associates in the area. So be sure that everyone in your personal circle knows about your business, has business cards, and is willing to recommend you when someone asks them for a recommendation. You may want to participate in some special events. Now, I haven't found these to be very productive, but they may work for you, so we'll talk about them a little bit. Generally, these are fairs. They could be general weekend fairs. They could be pet-specific fairs. There's a couple of big ones in the Bay Area where they do adoptions and all kinds of different pet-related stuff. It may just be a little fair for your small town or a farmer's market even. I mean, just any kind of an outdoor fair where you're setting up a table or a booth. So these are a lot of work. Usually there's a cost to participate. It may be free if it's like a really small local thing, but generally you're paying for the space. You got to set up a table, have a tablecloth preferably branded to your business, possibly a banner behind you, lots of things on your table to hand out and to get the interest of the people who are walking through the fair. Now, again, as I said, I haven't found these to be really worth the investment. It's rare that you'll get a client from something like that. Mostly people are walking through and maybe they'll buy some little trinkets or something, but our specific need for that type of a service, they may not have at that moment. That said, again, it may work for you. So a good way to kind of break into these things is maybe if you have a friend or associate who already has a booth, maybe you can share. Maybe if they're doing adoptions or crafts or collars or something like that, where they're going to be getting a lot of foot traffic, maybe you can kind of share the table or booth with them and just kind of get a feel for it and see if it's something you want to put your time into in the future. Everything I've mentioned so far has been relatively inexpensive as far as handing out cards and referrals and whatnot. There are a lot of opportunities for paid advertising, none of which I recommend, but we're going to talk about them anyway, just so you're aware if you want to try it. Now, newspapers were always a place where one could advertise. They have a variety of different options. You can make all the little different size squares with graphics and an advertisement with a special or what have you. You'll see those in every newspaper. Also, sometimes they have like a pet section or a home and garden section where they'll have lists of services and there'll be a picture of your business card or something like that. So there's a lot of different ways you can participate in print newspapers, and some people do still read print newspapers. There is still a market for that. Also, these newspapers or other periodicals or news outlets will also have websites. So you can pay for banner ads or for ads that are like within the other content that they have that's hopefully relative to your type of business. So you can do that as well. What I find is that these ads are pretty pricey and rarely will you get a call from them. They can be hundreds of dollars just for one insertion. And in marketing, if you want to be successful, you kind of need to be consistent. You need to have something in there like every week, every month, for 6 months or a year before it really gets on people's minds and they're likely to call you. So that is a significant investment, especially for a small service business, especially if you're just starting out. So I'm telling you about these things so you'll be aware of them, but I kind of don't recommend them. I think you'll be disappointed if you invest hundreds of dollars in something and you don't get one call. Google AdWords is another one where you can pay for a higher placement in search engines. But if you have a good website and Google My Business, you're going to be high in the listings already. So I don't really find that that's necessary. Now, anytime you search for a pet sitter or pet sitter near me, try it right now if you don't believe me. The first thing that's going to come up every time is Rover. Every time. And do you know why? Because according to a website that I read, they spend about $500,000 a month. That's $500,000 a month for that placement. So we will never be able to compete with corporations like that. So there's no point in trying. They're always going to be first. Make a good website, improve your SEO, and you will get a high listing without having to pay for it. There may be other paid opportunities, like I've heard things where pet sitters will get an invitation from, say, a golf and country club, a yachting club, a homeowners association to pay for an ad in their newsletter or some kind of promotion within their business. And again, these are people that you can reach probably for free in other ways. And I wouldn't recommend spending money on any of these kind of things. Now, if it's free or really cheap, like $50, go for it. See if you get a call or two. But any more than that, I really wouldn't spend time or money on paid advertising for a pet sitting business. It just generally does not generate a lot of return on your investment. So in conclusion, we only have so much time and energy in our day. We're trying to run the business. We have families. We have our own pets. We have to take care of ourselves. We don't have time to do every one of these things all the time. And we don't have unlimited money. So you need to pick the things that are going to work for you. Pick one or two of these things and focus on them. And if it doesn't work for you, move on to something else. Again, I'm giving you some general advice that has worked for me and others with whom I have networked over the years, but your situation may be different. In your area, you may get a lot of business from one type of marketing and not the other. So that's going to be up to you to determine that. But again, you want to guard your resources and not spend too much money on any one thing that maybe isn't going to work out for you. Start with free and inexpensive and move up from there as you can afford it. As I said, you can get cards and printed materials online very inexpensively in bulk. You can get websites that are started for free or for very little money, $10, $20, or $30 to start. And you can work up from there. You can invest more in your business as your business grows and you want to develop more marketing methods or get more functionality out of the methods you have. Now, I mentioned at the beginning that I would give you my recommendation if you could only pick one marketing tool, and that would be a website. If you don't do anything else on this list or anything else that you've heard of from others, definitely create a good website. And the next video will be a deep dive into websites and SEO because it's such a complex topic. and it can be kind of hard to understand. For now, I will link some other videos and articles in the description that you can start studying and get an understanding of what that is all about. And then, as I said, I will create another video with SEO specifically for pet sitters that will be helpful to you. But again, that is what I would recommend that you put your energy into right now. If you only want to pick one thing, get a good website up there, get your information, some good pictures, your location, your prices, and a way for people to contact you. You got to get it out there on Google as soon as possible, because it does take a while for websites to be indexed by the search engine. So when you put it up, it's not like people are going to find it in their searches the next day. So that's something that I would highly recommend. Thank you for watching today. Please subscribe to our channel. I would love to hear about marketing methods that you have tried. Do you agree or disagree with what I've said today? Have you tried something that wasn't on my list that worked really well for you? Did you try something that didn't work for you? I would love to hear about it. Please comment with your experiences, your thoughts, your ideas.